This is my third entry into the Flat Out Heroes $100,000 challenge. My previous entry used 3 cities with regular flights between them. Because I used real cities, it was not possible to find perfect 90-degree angles. I did this to avoid any questions about whether the routes were flyable. Since the initial challenge was to have exactly 90-degree angles on all the points, for a total of 270 degrees, and my solution totaled only 263 degrees, it was not accepted. While these flights and angles certainly can only work on a sphere, it didn't satisfy the exact parameters of the challenge. Fortunately, Flat Out Hero clarified what is needed to prove the solution.
Piece together flight charts, or if you want to use your Mercator style map, take me on a trip to the North or South Pole, or plot it anywhere else. Doesn't matter. Anywhere that's not restricted. Hey, if you can use airspace that we know planes fly in, fine. That's proof. Let's do it.
Perfect. In this video, I will be piecing together flight charts and using airspace we know planes can fly in. Exactly what's being asked for. For the solution, I have these goals. All angles exactly 90 degrees. All legs exactly the same length. Endpoints are in the vicinity of the airports from my previous solution. That the routes go over regular non-restricted airspace. And the areas are covered by the ONC charts. This will completely satisfy all objections that Flat Out Hero may have. To calculate the length for each leg, I took the accepted value for the radius of the Earth of 6,371 kilometers. Multiply that by 2 to get the diameter, and then multiply by pi to get the circumference of 4,030 kilometers. In order to get the required angles of 90 degrees each leg for the route, we need to have it be exactly 1/4 of the circumference of the Earth. Divided by 4, we get 10,007 kilometers. That's 6,218 miles, or 5,403.6 nautical miles. I selected points that were exactly 5,403.6 nautical miles for each leg. The first point is 18 degrees south, 20 degrees east in Namibia, Africa. The second point is 11 degrees north, 106 degrees east in Cambodia, and the third leg is 68 degrees north, 16 degrees west just north of Iceland. The farthest north this route goes is 72 degrees north, just off the coast of Norway. I've put the exact coordinates into the description if you want to paste into Google Maps, Skyview, or other navigation tools. You can see the angle is exactly 90 degrees for each point. If you want to verify these angles, I have posted the coordinates in a format that SkyVector likes as well. You can paste them into the routes box and hit enter. I can also provide screenshots if you want. After deciding on the routes, I printed charts and began taping them together. Each chart has a border and an overlapping section of the neighboring chart. These need to be cut off. I think Flat Out Hero thought I was maybe cheating somehow with my previous solution because of this, but it is completely necessary. Let's have a look. Here are charts A1 and A2. You can see A1 goes to 34 degrees and A2 starts at 34 degrees. But they don't overlap happily. Each chart overlaps the neighboring chart, obscuring the other chart. I've chosen to cut off the right side of each chart. I'll cut chart A1 right along the 34th line of longitude. Once chart A1 is carefully cut along the 34th line of longitude, it fits perfectly along the 34th line of longitude on chart A2. The same happens for charts that are north and south of each other. Here we have chart C1, where one of the points on the triangle is just north of Iceland, and a point I marked on the south side of the chart where the route will go off the south side. The map directly south is D1. It has an overlapping section north of the 64th parallel and a border you can see on the north edge where the route will go. The border and overlapping areas need to be removed in order to tape the maps together. Here I have cut the right side and the top of chart D1. After cutting, they fit together perfectly. There's no need to have a chart for an area that's nothing but water. So ONC charts do not have coverage for areas where there's no land. This means there's no coverage over some areas of the oceans. The route I chose goes over areas that has coverage because of the landmass distribution in the Indian Ocean. Here you can see the charts that go across this area. There's one area between Iceland and Norway where there are no islands, so there's a section from the prime meridian to 9 degrees east where there is no chart published. This is between charts C1 and C2. However, the charts do have extra area on each side. There's a good amount of overlap and the route goes over this area. I cut the edge of C1 a little differently to retain the extra overlap with C2. When placing the charts together, I also used the D series map on the south line to align the charts correctly. I very carefully aligned and taped the charts, then used a long straight edge to connect each point of the triangle. Here's the route from Iceland to Namibia. When I drew this line, I had bumped the straight edge before drawing it, and I had to realign the straight edge and redraw the line to connect to the endpoint. I used a digital protractor to show the angle of each turn. For those in the Flat Earth Community University, a protractor is known as an angleometer. This is Namibia, where you see the 90-degree turn over the Indian Ocean to Cambodia. Then, the second 90-degree turn back to Iceland, where we have a third 90-degree turn. I assembled the PVC dome again and put the charts on it. On the dome, the routes fit together perfectly. There are no wrinkles, no removed areas, no unneeded overlaps. They fit together on a sphere, and the beginning and ending of the route are in the same place, just like in reality. Here's a flyover of the routes on the dome. Note closely that the paper isn't wrinkled, warped, twisted, crinkled, or distorted in any way. There were a few people other than Flat Out Hero that made claims about how the charts were lining up in my previous video. Review this footage closely. The charts perfectly line up on the dome. I have more pictures of the charts on the dome. I'll post some in the comments in the coming days. A special note to the Oakley debate team. When you interviewed Flat Out Hero, one of you were wondering if you should investigate Wolfie 6020's claims, if you care about the truth. Well, look at my claims. I used a real flight chart and plotted 3 90-degree turns and returned to the starting point. You can download these charts and piece them together yourself to verify I'm not doing anything tricky. If you chart these routes out and lay them flat, the start and end points will be 10,000 kilometers apart. But in reality, it's the same place. If these charts are accurate, this is completely impossible on a flat plane. I encourage you to really seek truth as you claim. If you want more details than I've provided in this video, ask in the comments. I have nothing to hide. I'm happy to share all the information I have. Let's review the challenge details from Flat Out Hero's challenge video, and what was said and what was not said. This solution completely follows the initial challenge. It also follows the additional clarifications given. I pieced together paper flight charts. The airspace is not restricted. It's in areas we've already identified from my previous video that flights regularly fly. The charts I used have been declared to suffice as proof. This means my solution will be the winner. For my winnings, I will still direct half to World Vision. Flat Out Hero, you can just contact them and send the funds to them directly on your honor. Actually, I'd suggest a slight change if you prefer. Instead of sending World Vision 50 $1,000 payments, do this. Sponsor a child through World Vision. Our family is a child in Peru that we've been sponsoring for many years. When I was in college, myself and a group of friends sponsored a child in the Philippines. A couple years ago, she contacted us all on Facebook to thank us. Because of that sponsorship, she got food, clothing, and education. Today, she's graduated college and lives and works in a city in the Philippines. Flat Out Hero, this is a great opportunity to help another person that could really use it. More than I need it, and it's worth more than any silly challenge. For the other half, I don't want you to send it to me. Instead, hold on to it. I intend to issue challenges. Should anyone win, I'll simply assign the payments to be directed to the winner of the challenge. Don't worry though, I'll be issuing challenges that would prove the Earth is flat. Your money is safe. The first challenge will be to create a physical model of the star observations from the southern hemisphere. More details in an upcoming video. If you'd like to be notified of my new videos, be sure to subscribe and click on that bell thingy. I'd like to thank Planar Walk for attempting the same challenge using these same ONC charts. Instead of using a PVC dome, he simply tried to tape a large area of the charts together. Since these charts approximate a sphere, when placed together, they don't lay flat and eventually they collapsed. He put a lot of work in. Have a look at his video linked in the description. Go and subscribe and support him on Patreon. Also, thanks to Flat Out Hero. It's been fun. I'm glad to be the final winner of your challenge. If you like this kind of content, there are several other channels with tons of good information. Check them out. I've included links to their channels in the description.